Welcome back, guys. In this tutorial we'll be starting the colors on our image. Now if you're drawing along at home, you may not be limited to a sort of a look which I'm going for, so I'll definitely be trying to make this look like something out of the Under the Ocean world, though if you're doing your own picture you can avoid certain steps, and I'll point those out during the course of the tutorial. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is just grab a screenshot of Under the Ocean. And it looks quite a bit less impressive than concept art, but that's alright, we just need it for a bit of reference. I'm just going to scale that down and put it in my top corner for now. Now I'll be picking parts off that if I get lost, or you know, use anything you can to save yourself some time. Alright, so the first step is making an overlay layer. I just blanket the scene with a sort of an orangey color. You'll be able to check the source files if you want. The second step is using a color burn to sort of add a bit more intensity to it with roughly the same color. And then usually I'll pick like some sort of opposite color to pick out contrasted bits. In this case it's a sea. Set that to color burn too, and just don't get too worried about neatness. Just gonna smash that around. Do something with the sky and maybe just make it a color layer. Color layer is good for just blanketing out every other color. Your overlay layer will really be your friend. This is pretty much how I paint the colors. Alright, so now I'll just start picking out some plants and stuff, and without using an overlay layer, just solid color basically. What you didn't see there is I actually have on shortcut a effect queued, Gaussian blur. So when you see things sort of instantly get smoothed out, that isn't trickery. That's just having Gaussian blur effect filter on hotkey. It's about the only filter I use. Alright, so just working on the fire a bit, gonna set another overlay layer down. Now, as I said earlier in the first video, I mentioned that a lot of the contrast from the fire will come later. That's sort of what I meant, that more overlay layers we stack on it, more vibrant it gets. Just trying a few things with replace color. It's a pretty cool little plugin, but it gets you mixed results. It's worth trying. For a beginner, I suggest avoid it and just stick to overlay layers. I think get better results just sort of picking opposite colors and just painting them around via an overlay layer. I'm just going to put a bit of color on these characters. I'm actually considering just grabbing one of the characters out of that screenshot and just painting over him, just for consistency. Yeah, just gonna overlay the character. Make sure it looks alright. I think my concepted version was a fair bit off, the chest and stuff. Now, everybody won't have the luxury of having a 3D character from a game that's sitting around, unless you've got your own game that you're concepting over. So, consider this a luxury that very rarely comes. Most of the time you'll have to paint everything from scratch. The perspective is a fair amount out on this character. He'll need a bit of work. So if you have, your game at home and you want to doll it up, this is a good way to, grab a sprite and turn it into something magnificent without losing the game's sort of, I guess, vibe. Might make him looking down at the fire or something. I think he needs some sort of pose that isn't just like vacant. He needs to be interacting with the fire in some way. For now, just still focused on like the raw shape of the character. Try to avoid doing too much shading like I am on his pants. It's probably not the best idea. Just block out the rough shape. Now you see me picking up colors there. That's pretty much out of laziness. I could be using the color wheel, but I mean there's yellows sort of sitting around the scene, so I'll just use them almost like a palette. Now I guess that answers some of the questions that people have been asking too about palettes. Just defining his belt a bit more, because I think that was probably the thing that was throwing the perspective out. Quite like his beard. Now you'll see me pretty rarely using blacks from here on in. In this video, this is probably the last you'll see of me using pure black, because it gives off a very distinct look that's probably not desirable. Pretty much most of painting, once you get your image about this far, you'll start just refining the shapes with your paintbrush. playing around with layers. Sometimes you can just scroll through the layers and get like an interesting looking color variation that may work for you. So that one was quite interesting, the green, right? But I think the green's too overpowering, so I just went to hue and saturation, which is in the top-down menu, and changed it to sort of more an orange color, and change it to purple, sorry, and just gonna try and pull out these clouds a bit. Now the general rule of thumb is still paint with as big as brush as you can, though we will start to work into sort of smaller brushes as we start to get more detailed. Though we're still using the standard spherical brush with no soft. Alright, so thanks for watching. Of course, grab all the source files and check out my games at farmergnome.com. And up next, we'll be finishing off the coloring. Thank you for watching.